Imagine looking up at the night sky and realizing that the moon is no longer just a silent companion of Earth, but the center of the biggest competition of our time. Today, we are witnessing a new space race, not like the Cold War era between the United States and the Soviet Union, but a far bigger, more global race to control the moon. So why is everyone suddenly so interested in the moon again? The answer is simple: resources, technology, and power. Scientists believe the moon holds enormous reserves of rare minerals, frozen water, and possibly helium-3, an element that could one day power clean nuclear fusion. In simple words, the moon may become the fuel station, the mining hub, and even the military outpost of the future. Right now, major players include the United States, China, India, Russia, Japan, and private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin. NASA has already launched the Artemis program, aiming to return humans to the moon and eventually build a permanent base there. China, on the other hand, has its own ambitious lunar missions and plans to establish a research station near the moon's south pole. This South Pole is extremely important because that's where scientists believe large deposits of frozen water exist. Why does water matter? Because water can be split into hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen can be used as rocket fuel, and oxygen, of course, helps humans breathe. This means whoever controls lunar water could control deep space exploration. Missions to Mars or beyond might refuel on the moon before traveling further. That's a game changer. But here's where the story gets even intense. The moon is not governed like Earth. There is an old treaty from 1967, the Outer Space Treaty, that says no country can own the moon, but it doesn't clearly explain what happens if a country builds a base there, mines resources, or sets up permanent infrastructure. So now countries are quietly competing to be first, because in real life, first movers often get the biggest advantage. The United States has introduced the Artemis Accords, an international agreement encouraging peaceful cooperation in space. Many countries have signed it, but China and Russia are not part of it, and they are forming their own alliances. So space is slowly becoming divided, just like geopolitics on Earth. Then comes the role of private companies. Space is no longer only about governments. Companies want to launch satellites, mine asteroids, provide internet, and eventually sell tickets to the moon. Billion-dollar corporations are now shaping the future of space, and that raises big questions. Who regulates them? Who ensures safety? Who owns what they find? And what about India? India is emerging as a serious space power. With successful missions like Chandrayaan-3, the country has shown that it can land near the moon's south pole. This puts India in a strategically strong position for future cooperation and research. But there is a darker side too. If the moon becomes a battleground for resources, military interests may follow. Imagine lunar surveillance stations or satellites controlling weapons from space. While countries publicly talk about peaceful research, power competition always exists in the background. So, who will control the moon? The truth is, maybe no one should. Ideally, the moon should belong to humanity, not just a handful of powerful nations or corporations. But history shows us that whenever resources and profit are involved, competition is unavoidable. The new space race is not just about flags or pride. It is about the future economy, technology dominance, and who leads humanity into the space age. Over the next 20 to 30 years, decisions made in space could shape life on Earth, our communication, our energy, even our security. As we look up at the moon tonight, it may seem calm, quiet, and unchanged, but behind the scenes, the world's most powerful nations are already planning, competing, and racing towards it. The biggest question is not just who will get there first, but how we will choose to use this new frontier, together or in conflict. Only time will reveal whether the moon becomes a symbol of unity for humanity or the next stage for global rivalry.